After World War II, Britain faced a severe housing shortage. Bombings had destroyed many homes, and there was an urgent need to provide adequate housing for returning soldiers and their families. The government embarked on an ambitious building program, leading to the creation of new towns and the widespread construction of council houses. Prefabricated homes, or prefabs, were a temporary solution, providing quick and affordable housing. By the 1960s, high-rise tower blocks became a common sight, symbolizing modernity and efficiency despite later criticisms of their impact on community life. The 1950s and 1960s saw a surge in technological advancements that revolutionized daily life. Television became a household staple, with the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II in 1953 marking a significant moment in broadcasting history. The spread of refrigerators, washing machines, and vacuum cleaners transformed domestic life, particularly for women who were traditionally responsible for household chores. The advent of the transistor radio and later color television brought entertainment and news into living rooms, fostering a shared national culture. Popular culture underwent a dramatic transformation during these decades. The 1950s were marked by the rise of rock and roll, with American influences like Elvis Presley captivating British youth. The 1960s, however, were the era of British musical dominance, epitomized by the British invasion led by the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, and The Who. This period also saw the emergence of the swinging 60s, characterized by a vibrant fashion scene centered in London's Carnaby Street, the rise of the miniskirt, and the influence of designers like Mary Quant. Post-war Britain saw significant immigration from the Caribbean, South Asia, and other parts of the Commonwealth. The arrival of the HMT Empire Windrush in 1948 symbolized the beginning of large-scale Caribbean immigration. These immigrants were invited to help rebuild the British economy, filling labor shortages in industries like public transport and the NHS. South Asian immigrants, particularly from India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, also arrived in large numbers during the 1950s and 1960s, often finding work in manufacturing and small businesses. The influx of immigrants led to both cultural enrichment and social tension. Racism and discrimination were prevalent, with immigrants often facing hostility and poor living conditions. These tensions culminated in several race riots, notably the Notting Hill riots of 1958, where racial violence broke out between white residents and West Indian immigrants. The government responded with legislation such as the Commonwealth Immigrants Act of 1962, which sought to control immigration, and the Race Relations Act of 1965, aimed at addressing racial discrimination. The 1960s were also a time of significant social change. The feminist movement gained momentum, challenging traditional gender roles and advocating for women's rights, including workplace equality and reproductive rights. The Sexual Offenses Act of 1967 decriminalized homosexuality between consenting adults, marking a major step forward for LGBTQ+ rights. Additionally, the abolition of capital punishment in 1965 reflected changing attitudes towards justice and human rights. Economically, Britain experienced a period of relative prosperity in the 1950s, often referred to as the post-war boom. However, by the late 1960s, economic challenges such as inflation and unemployment began to surface, leading to political instability. The period saw significant political figures, including Prime Ministers Winston Churchill, Harold Macmillan, and Harold Wilson, navigating the country through these transformative years. The 1950s and 1960s in Britain were decades of profound change. From addressing the housing crisis and embracing new technologies to navigating the complexities of immigration and racial tensions, British society underwent significant transformations. The era set the stage for modern Britain, characterized by its cultural dynamism, technological advancements, and ongoing social evolution.